Okay, so for this deck, I didn't plan on making a hero deck when I started out. I wanted to make a deck revolving around Red Lotus, because I thought his effect looked pretty neat. He can be normal summoned or special summoned any other way, but he also has a way to special summon himself. If you have exactly 3 normal monsters in your grave, you can banish 2 of them, and once per turn you can special summon 1 level 4 lower normal monster from your graveyard. And when I was looking for good normal monster targets, because I know a whole bunch of level 4 normal monster decks I could play, I forgot all about Gemini monsters, and I found them and I was like, oh, I'm totally going to make a Gemini deck with this. And then I ran into the heroes and I was like, oh, heroes could definitely work with this. My first version, I wanted to make like a light hero version, since you do banish the cards. I was gonna like use Light Ray Sorcerer along with Future Samurai. Future Samurai actually won me a game. He's not half bad. And then the new Dawn Knight to send them to the grave, and Elemental Hero Sparkman. And my first and second draft of this deck are kind of terrible. It wasn't until my third draft when I thought, oh, why don't I just abandon the whole light concept entirely and go with the Blue Flame Swordsman, since when he's destroyed by an opponent, you can special summon a fire warrior type monster from your grave, which is what Red Lotus is. And then there's also a fire type warrior Gemini monster, because I love Gemini Spark. And this card, special summoning a normal monster from the grave, synergizes with Gemini Spark pretty well. But Gemini Spark isn't the main focus of the deck, there's only 2 of them. Even though it is pretty nice, and it does synergize with this guy, it's more about going for those XYZ summons. And I mainly normal summon this guy out more than I actually use his effect to banish 2 cards to go into him, because you need to have exactly 3. So, my final version of the deck, I just went straight up like fire monsters. My first 2 versions had something to do with heroes and something to do with light type monsters for Light Ray. I don't know. I haven't really perfected the last version of it yet either, but I am really interested in this kind of deck because Red Lotus has so much potential to be an okay card, but not overpowered. Not in the slightest, not at all. In fact, not even close, because he doesn't affect the field at all, other than bringing out an old monster from the grave, which isn't hard to do anyway. But I thought he was a cool card, so I thought I'd build a deck around him. And it didn't turn out half bad thanks to the Blue Flame Swordsman. So anyways, I'll talk more about that at the end. I'm not going to show the first 2 versions of the deck, I'm just going to talk about the one that actually works at the end. Well, I mean, they all worked, it's just the last one was way hella more consistent. Alright, so here's the final deck of it. This stupid card right here, though, the Dawn Knight. Since it's new, it caused a bunch of errors, so I didn't really get to show as many replays as I wanted to. So, whatever. Anyways, the deck has triple Knight of the Red Lotus, triple E-Hero Neos, one Valkyrie Knight, triple Evocator Chalvier, I don't know, something French, triple Blue Flame Swordsman, one Featherizer, double Effect Veiler, double E-Call, one Reinforce, triple Miracle Fusion, triple Pot of Duality, double MST, double Gemini Spark, triple Supervise, one Bottomless, one Torrential, double Trapstun, double D-Prison, double Call the Haunted for the extra deck, one Great Tornado, double Nova Master, one Shiny, one Zero, Thunder Charger, M7, Bronzer, Gauntlet. I think I have way too many rank 6s for just one rank 6. I think this is just a relic from a past version of the deck. Ragna Zero, this card's amazing. Armor Ninja, double Silent Honor Arc, I was going into him a lot. Execution Knight, and Lawful Chain. Yeah, I was going into Honor Knight so many times I threw in Absolute Zero, because this guy's pretty much going to be in the grave for an Absolute Zero. And the extra deck is just cards I was playing around with. Earlier versions actually had normal monsters in it before I took him out, because he works with Gemini monsters, and it's not hard to get Gemini monsters in the grave. And yeah, so first off, triple Knight of the Red Lotus, because the deck's revolving around him. If it wasn't, I'd probably only throw in 2, maybe 1, because he's not really that great, but the deck's about him, so he's at 3. 3 Alias, because he's the only hero in the deck, and you need him for Miracle Fusion, but he's super easy to actually get in the grave or to your hand, because of the E-Call or Reinforce, or the Pot of Duality, or the Featherizer. 1 Valkyrie Knight. This card, it's like a weaker version of the Blue Flame Swordsman, except he has 100 more attack. So he's level 4, 1900 attack beater. So he's pretty good just for those stats alone. His effect is when your opponent targets a face-up warrior type monster for an attack, except this card, your opponent cannot target a face-up warrior type monster for attacks except Valkyrie Knight. That's not really why I use it though. Second one is when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can banish one warrior type monster and this card from your graveyard to target one level 5 or higher warrior type monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. Level 5 or higher warrior doesn't have to be fire, but it does work on Knight of the Red Lotus since he's level 6. So if he's destroyed, you can banish him plus, you know, what is it, Evocator? Or E-Hero, or Blue Flame Swordsman, or if there was another copy of this guy in the deck, him. But since he's not really that great, I only run 1, because he is still really nice, and I'm really low on monsters, so I had to run something. Triple Evocator, because he's a 1900 warrior fire type Gemini monster with a really good effect to send Supervise to the grave to destroy a card on the field. Plus he's a 1900 beater, which is awesome. And the Fire Omni Hero is actually really good. I mean, he can draw a card off of Destruction by Battle, which is a really good effect. You can also, since he's a Fire Warrior type monster, if he's properly fusion summoned through Miracle Fusion, you can use Blue Flame Swordsman or Valkyrie to bring him back later on. I've never actually done that though, but I'm pretty sure you can do that since he's properly fusion summoned thanks to Miracle Fusion. Blue Flame Swordsman. This card is amazing, the MVP of the Red Lotus deck. Once per turn during either player's battle phase, you can target one other warrior type monster you control. This card loses exactly 600 attack, and if it does, that monster gains 600 attack. Now, the monster he uses this effect on just has to be warrior type. He doesn't have to be fire, so you can use it on Alias, along with all the other fire warrior type monsters, which is pretty awesome. So, since you can use it during either player's turn, it's spell speed 2, so you can use it during your opponent's turn, or you can do it after this guy attacks to boost up one of your other monsters. But the attack decrease is permanent, and that monster gains 600. It doesn't say anything about the monster you give the attack to, so I just assume that's also permanent. When this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one fire warrior type monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. So if he's destroyed by your opponent, by like a Mirror Force or getting destroyed by battle, you can bring out a Red Lotus, or an Evocator, or a Valkyrie Knight, or even another Blue Flame Swordsman if there's one in the grave. since he doesn't specify Blue Flame Swordsman. It just has to be one Fire Warrior type monster, but mainly Red Lotus, because Red Lotus is the whole focus of this deck. Featherizer, when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, you can send one Gemini monster from your deck to the grave and draw a card. Great card to open up with, not really good to have later on during the duel, that's why you only have one. Usually if it's a card that's only good like on your first turn, you only run it at 1, and nothing more. If at all, really. It could be replaced with anything else, but he does have a really good effect for this deck, which focuses on using the Geminis in the grave, and he gets a draw off of that as well, which is really good. Plus he's when you go into Great Tornado, and Great Tornado is not half bad. The Vec Filler is just a Vec Filler. I tried running Breakthrough Skill because the deck milled, but I just love a Vec Filler way more. Plus you can use a Vec Filler plus Neos Alias to go into a Shiny, because Shiny is probably the best Omni hero. Actually, I don't know. It's probably a throw-up between these 4, actually, because they're all really good. Probably Nova Master, no, probably Shining and Absolute Zero are the best. Maybe Absolute Zero is the best, because he has like immediate advantage if he gets removed from the field. Then again, Shining allows you to return those cards from removed from play to your hand. Nova Master allows you to draw off destroying monsters by battle, which is always a really good effect. Great Tornado, yeah, he's probably the weakest out of these ones, but he's still good. They're all good. The other 2 suck though. The Dark one and the Earth one. Pretty bad. Is there any other ones that I'm missing? Maybe. Whatever. I only run 2 emergency calls because this deck was already getting kind of... I didn't have enough room for all the cards I wanted to put in. This deck isn't all about heroes. It only has an Eos Alias, and he's really easy to add to your hand with just 2 emergency calls. And obviously 1 Reinforce because all the other warriors. Triple Miracle Fusion, obviously, because it's a hero deck. And that's the only way to go into the Omni Heroes, since I'm not going to run Super Poly. Triple Pot of Duality, because this deck loves Duality. It was probably the only way to really draw into cards. You don't really need the Dualities. I was just trying it out, and it's really good for the very low monster count I have. Double MST, only reason I'm not running 3 is because I also have 2 Gemini Sparks. Only 2 Gemini Sparks because, well, I always find 3 to float up my hand, and it's not as good as it once was because you can actually use your Geminis to go into rank 4s. And rarely do you actually ever use them for the Gemini Spark, but you do use it, so it's in here in case you do. Supervise, I'm only running 3 because I have Evocator. He really can use the heck out of this card. Basically, you equip it to him, he gains his effect immediately, uses the effect to send this card to the grave to destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field, and then when this card's sent to the grave, you use it to special summon one of your Geminis from the grave, and then you go into a rank 4 summon. Really good, super amazing with Evocator. And then just the staple traps. I've been running Deep Prison over Mirror Force lately because it's actually been working out way better. There's some cards, actually there's a lot of cards now that can't be destroyed by card effects, or their effects still activate in the grave, and Deep Prison has just been really good because it really screws over tons of decks. And even though Mirror Force actually gives you better advantage since it destroys more cards, I found that Deep Prison has been working out a lot better for me. Bottomless, because Bottomless, same thing, Banished, really good. Torrential, because it still destroys a whole bunch of cards in the field. Trapstun, Trapstun's also really good because of the other people playing Deep Prisons. And Call the Haunted, basically, is just for Night, to bring out Red Lotus, because if you can bring out Red Lotus with this card... actually this was in here when I still had Card Trooper as well. Pretty much if you use it on Red Lotus, you can use Red Lotus to bring out one of your Geminis. So it's not half bad. But it doesn't really synchronize with any of them if you're about to get, like, destroyed by... if it's about to be MST chain. So it's probably not the best bet in here, but I was just trying it out with Red Lotus. And then as for the extra deck, I'd explain the Omni Heroes. I think I have too many rank 4s, and the XYZs... Blade Armor Ninja is a really good way to get rid of half your opponent's life points if you're going to attack directly. Since they're all warrior types, you can go into them. Ragna Zero, really good against Fire Fist, and Fire Fist are probably one of the most popular decks out there right now. Plus you also get a draw card off of that, that's so good. He has 2400 attack too. This card's a little OP, to be honest. So is Silent Honor Arc. I mean, stealing one of your opponent's cards, and he's also water type, so good for absolute zero. I should really edit this deck out a little bit better to make it run smoother. Well, of course, Execution Knight if you're behind, and then Lawful Chain, don't really need it. Probably could just go into a Silent Honor, or... Actually, no, you can only really go into one of those. Lawful Chain to fill the grave with Geminis, but you probably don't really need to do that. So yeah, that's it for this. I'm still working on it. Obviously, as you can tell from all my rambling about ideas I had while I was explaining the deck to you guys. So I'll probably most likely go back to it because I was having a lot of fun with this deck. Because it's heroes plus blue flame swordsmen and this wild card, Red Lotus.